gave KD slack with the Harden thing, you know, like whatever, man. You need Harden, cool. You got Harden. If they get Andre Drummond, I am going to explode, Mo. I'm going to explode because it's like, can you not win if you don't have an all-star team, bro? Like, can you not win if you do not have an all-star team? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, got the fresh cut going.
Fresh fade.
Heck yeah, man.
Just came out the dang out the chair too.
How long does it take for you to get your haircut?
I don't take no more than probably about like 40, 45 minutes. Quick line up. Waves hitting. Ooh.
There you go, bro. There you go. All right, man. God, lots going on right now, though, with like the deaths and stuff like that.
Man, John Chaney.
89, man. It's crazy.
Like, we just losing legends, like, just back to back. Like, it's crazy.
It is, man.
True legend.
We're about to lose another legend once Brady goes down in a week.
You are funny. You are funny.
What do you think, man? Fuck. I can't let him off the hook this time. I'll let you go first, and then I'll speak. So what do you think? Packers, Bucks, give me your assessment of what went down on Sunday.
I think it came down to like that second half. Like the Bucks defense saved them. Yeah, so there was 2 times where they got to the goal line and they didn't score, or either they didn't score or like they kicked field goals, right? And so you have it to where like that last one where they got into the red zone, you get 3 downs, you on the 8-yard line. You get 3 downs, they all pass attempts. And then on the third one, Rodgers has room to run.
Yeah, to that side pylon. I agree, man. I don't know what he's doing.
And he doesn't. He tries to throw this, cross body pass to Devontae Adams that really wasn't there. And you like, why didn't you run for it? You could have at least gotten. Let's say he doesn't get the touchdown. He could have at least gotten to like the 2 to 1 yard line.
Yep.
That makes you more likely because he already said that he thought he had 4 downs. So that gives you more of a chance to even go for the 4 downs. But because the play happened, that was the dumbest move by LaFleur to not go for it on the 4th down. You kick a field goal, you still have to get a touchdown.
No, exactly.
Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
You still have to get a touchdown. So why not just go for the touchdown? If you don't get it, they on their 8-yard line. You get some stops. Plus the 2-minute warning.
They were down 8, right?
Yeah, they were down 8.
Okay.
So you kick a field goal, you still down 5. You still need a touchdown. So the decision at all just didn't make sense. Like no, because you still either way, either if you went for it or 4th down or you kick the field goal, you still need a touchdown. So just why not go ahead and go for it, and then that way you got them backed up in their own. Near their own end goal. So,
yeah, I mean, like the game they tried to play was basically like, we're going to not let Brady get a single. He just needed 1 or 2 first downs. Like, it's like he's going to get that, man. Like, and they gave him more of a chance, the Bucs did, because that return man didn't get it down to the 2 minutes. He, like, went down at 2:02. So when he did that, I was like, oh, well, now they got 4 chances. So, actually, but it, I don't know why I expected
it was just dumb. But, yeah, that D, they got after Rodgers, and I think it kind of showed Bakhtiari not being there with Jason Pierre-Paul being able to create his pressure.
JPP and Shaq Barrett were all over Rodgers that entire game, man. Like, yeah. I mean, that was insane.
Yeah, and that was who was it? Devin White was just all over the field. Like he was all.
He's the MVP of that defense. That dude's like the motor.
Easily, yeah. That dude was all over the place. So, it was. Yeah. They deserved to win that game because I really think it was just bad coaching decisions by LaFleur. Honestly.
God, it's a good team. Can't give it to Brady though, man. Not gonna lie. Last week against the Saints, I get it. Like, you didn't make the mistakes. Even though he only threw for like 200 yards, like, you did what you had to do. This week, I'm not gonna sit here and like these headlines like Brady leads them to it. Like, get the hell out of here with that, man. Like, I'm not trying to hear it.
The defense saved them. It really did, because you figure Aaron Rodgers, 8-yard line, and you figure within 3 attempts they're gonna get to the end zone.
Yeah, they were like historically one of the greatest red zone teams like in the league or something like that. They were saying earlier in the game. Like, I mean, insane.
And just nothing. Just absolutely nothing. So it was you got to give it to that D, like you said, Pierre Paul, Shaq Barrett, Devin White, they were
All
killing
over
it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
That's crazy, man. I mean, it is nuts, regardless of the fact that I don't think Brady played well. Like, he could go on to win 7 Super Bowls now. Like, that is absolutely insane.
GOAT status.
No, most definitely. He's the greatest to ever do it, for sure. Like, it's just, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's had more. You think about it, he's had more Super Bowl appearances than like any other organization ever.
Yeah, easily. It's insane.
It's
insane. And then on the other end, man, the Chiefs just toyed with the Bills. Like, I mean,
we called that though, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think any of us expected.
We called, and you think about it, if it wasn't for McCall Hardman, muffling that kickoff, or that was it the kickoff, or was it
I don't know if it was a punt return or if it was a kick.
It was a punt return. I forget. I think it might have been a kickoff. Either way, no, it was a punt. But if it wasn't for him muffing that, like, and they got that such great field position, they probably wouldn't even. They would have lost by like damn near 20-something points.
Bro, they're like the Floyd Mayweather of football. Every time it's the first quarter. Hear me out though. The first quarter, they don't play well ever. It seems like they're always the Chiefs. They're always down.
Yeah.
And it's like they're just calculating, just like sitting there, like what's gonna. And then it's just like, okay, like we got it. Like,
yeah,
rattle off 28 straight points. Like it's insane,
I mean,
man.
You know what? Now that you mentioned that, it makes sense though, because they're trying to figure out, okay, what are you trying to take away?
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Like, oh, you gonna take away Kelsey? Okay, cool. Well, then if you're gonna take away Kelsey, that means that you don't have help over the top, and we got a burner on the side. Yep. So good luck.
That slant that Tyreek took to like the 5-yard line, I've never seen a player like that, man. I don't know if it's like obviously the speed, but if it's just like maybe he's so small and his center of gravity is so low, and it's just so hard for them to like wrap him up. But I've never seen a dude like with that speed and elusivity, man, at the wide receiver. Like, oh my Lord, he's just so fun to watch. It's insane.
Well, and then you hear this news. So Scotty Miller has this whole interview talking about he could beat like Tyreek in 100-yard. Like,
find out.
He ran a 4.2 3?
I don't know. That sounds right.
He ran a 4.2 40. You ran a 4.39. You almost pretty much ran a 4.4.
Yeah.
And you think you can beat him in a?
I mean, like, again, I'm sure he was like, what did he say? Like, I'll take me any day of the week or something like that. Like,
but you should.
Yeah, I guess you have confidence in yourself, but like, come on, man, like, get out of here. That touchdown that he scored was insane. That's another, like, Green Bay just failed him there. Like, it was like, that's the thing, man.
It was the wrong defensive call.
Yeah, horrible. Like, why would you not have just like a prevent going? Just have people back to prevent, because they're not going to kick a field goal. It's like,
no.
That was
It
wild.
was bad. It was just bad. Like I said, it was just bad calling all over the field by the coach. Like the coach really failed them in 2 major ways: that defensive call, and then that not going for it on the 4th down.
I feel bad for Rodgers, man. I feel like, he was failed by the coaching, failed by the D, failed by his O-line. Like, and
the funny thing is, I know he's kind of being very cryptic with his interviews and the words that he's saying and everything. But all that being said, I think he's gonna be back in Green Bay next year. I mean, they went 13-3. They went to back-to-back NFC championships.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you go somewhere else, you're not gonna have the talent that you have in Green Bay.
No, exactly.
They just gotta get. He's just pissed right now because it's like, bro, if I'd have had a weapon, if I'd have had a Justin Jefferson, if I'd have had a Henry Ruggs, if I'd have had a Jerry Jeudy, you know what I mean? If I'd have had one of these players, have more weapons to my disposal rather than a backup quarterback that's probably not going to be playing for like another 3 years.
Right.
So I get what he's saying.
Man. It's just how they do it.
I get what he's doing.
Me too.
I get what he's saying, but
100%.
He'll be back there, and they'll probably be back in another AFC championship. And
it's just wild
not
though,
AFC,
man.
But NFC, but
yeah, but it's just wild because I looked at it after the 2 games. Like, Brady had, what was it, most turnovers, fewest completions, lowest completion percentage. Like it was just like it's just crazy that
bad.
and but I do he played a great first half for sure.
Yeah.
He balled out. But like to me I don't a half's a half. Like you had a bad game. Like the overall performance. You can't throw 3 picks.
Was able to get to him though. They were able to get to him.
Yeah. That's
all it comes down
to.
Just throwing the ball into places that shouldn't have been thrown. So he got his defense saved him.
So we'll have another pod 2 days before the Super Bowl. But I mean, early prediction. What do you think? What's the key? Like who do you got?
I mean, I feel like I have to pick the Chiefs.
See, I was thinking that too, but the thing I keep thinking is like the Bucks have an all-around good team. The Chiefs have a good offense. Their defense can be had pretty easily. So it's like, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
It is true. And I'll say, one of the things that I think is being kind of overlooked is the fact that they're missing both of their tackles.
Yep.
Their offensive tackles are being, Fisher. That's not something that's just to
no. Especially with those goons. Thing. Those goons they have on their defensive line.
Man, like JPP is he didn't make all pro for no reason. Like
swinging that club
Shaq
around.
Barrett's a beast. Devin White. They're serious.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I do think it's gonna be a close game, but I think at the end of the day, they'll find a way to come back and get another Super Bowl.
I hope so, man. Oh, that'd be so awesome. Just to get that revenge, because you got to think, it wasn't last season. It was 2 seasons ago, right? When Brady beat Mahomes in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, off of because they had that pre-snap penalty. And he never
forgot about that. Back. Threw the pick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, Brady. Good for you, man.
Got lucky.
Yep. Whatever, man.
Really lucky.
And then got to play the baby Rams in the Super Bowl. And that was the most boring Super Bowl I've ever seen.
And baby hands golf.
Pretty much, dude. They played horrible. Wasn't the game like 10-3? Wasn't it the final score or something? It was like
it was a low scoring game, but all they had was 3. It wasn't a good game. Last year's Super Bowl I like that. That was a good game.
Oh, it was a great game. Yeah.
Great game.
Man, 49ers got riddled this year, but they'll be back next year. Who knows, man? Yeah. All right, well, we might as well get into, some of the elephants in the room. Deshaun Watson requested a trade. Like, I mean, I think we all expected it. It seemed like we talked about this a week or two. That's get out of there. That's a horrible organization.
It's terrible.
The thing is, though, he has a no trade clause, so he has leverage as far as like where he'd go, which is very interesting.
Leverage. He has all the leverage.
And I think he said he wants to go to the Jets, which I don't understand. But I mean, what's your take?
Well, I haven't heard anything. I think a lot of people are saying that the Jets. I think he said he's interested in the Jets. It's because of the fact that they have a lot of capital.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they don't have to give up. So they can give up a couple of draft picks or whatever, but it won't be too much to where they won't be able to draft some people. But then they have, if I'm not mistaken, they have the most cap space, so they can go and get players. So I think that may be the reason why he wants to go to New York. Not to mention, I mean, it's the biggest media, market that we have, so he'll be able to drum up business with different deals and stuff like that as well. So
I think they have the third pick, maybe.
They have the second pick,
so they're not going to get Lawrence.
They don't need him. If you get Watson.
Oh yeah, exactly. I wonder who they would pick up. That Alabama receiver's a baller. That dude.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, that guy.
It would be nice, but if they trade for Watson, they would lose that.
That's a good point. Pick. They're definitely getting rid of that pick. Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him in Miami.
I think that was the other one I heard was New York and Miami.
Yeah, New York, Miami, and I mean, if they could pull it off, but if he was to go to San Francisco,
that's true too, man. Where does that leave Tua or Garoppolo though in either of those systems? Like they trading them straight up for you'll trade Tua because Deshaun is still on his rookie contract. Mm-hmm.
Right, so he only $10 million.
Okay, I didn't know that.
right? It's not until
I
I
thought it
think
was
the
out
following year
2025.
when he
Yeah.
goes into that extension that he signed, where he's gonna be
Oh,
making 40 million.
yeah. And I think
So
that's until 25 or 26 or something like that.
right.
So
So right now he's well exceeded his, the expectations on his contract and well worth the money. So it wouldn't be like you're giving up too much. I think a lot of it is just like the future of what that looks like for him and what that cost looks like. Um, and then I know I heard some people talking about him going to Chicago, but I don't think he gonna do it. Just the fact that like you already passed up on me in the draft for Mitchell Trubisky, and you think I'm gonna go here to try to save you? Like, no, I'm good.
that is wild, man. That's so crazy when like you look back at drafts like that and you see people because it was the same thing with Mahomes. I think he got passed up by a couple people in his draft, and that's got to be the ultimate like kick yourself,
He
like
what did he go 15th?
something like that, man. So that's 14 mistakes.
Facts,
Like holy
facts, big
crap,
time
man.
facts.
So yeah, wherever Deshaun goes, it's going to be interesting. Another quarterback on the move in our hometown. Stafford says, "Well, I hear apparently they mutually decide that they want to part
They did,
ways."
they did, they
And I'm
did.
happy. I'm not a huge Stafford fan, and regardless of that, I try to put that aside. I think objectively, you got to say it's time to move on. He's been here a while. It's not, getting us where we need to go. The question is, what are we getting for him? I guess,
Yeah, I mean, we had this conversation last week where we were talking about I think he's a good enough quarterback to where he can get a team to a Super Bowl. He just needs to be
Mhm.
in the right organization and have the right weapons, and then he needs a defense.
Yeah, definitely does,
Um,
which we don't have.
so like I don't even know the last time we had a good defense.
Never. Well, except for our line that one time, like we were talking
Yeah,
about a couple weeks ago with Fairley, Anza, and Sue. That was a
yeah,
good, and I think we were making the playoffs then. That's when we were
yeah.
going
We
like 10
did.
and
Yeah,
6.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think similar to the places that you would want to see Watson in, you would want to see Stafford. So like San Francisco. I know I've heard a lot about the Colts, especially the fact they play indoors, so he's used to being in a dome and stuff like that. Um, and then I heard the Broncos as well, which I think that could be nice if he goes to the Broncos.
Yeah.
Um, especially with the weapons that they have, and then Von Miller comes back in that defense,
That's
they could be
true.
pretty nice. I mean, you think about it, and they were talking about this on First Take. There could be upward like at least 18 quarterbacks that'll be changing teams, and these are starting quarterbacks.
What do you think about the Patriots? Where do they make, what is their
I
role in all this?
I heard that they try to go and get may try to make it run at Stafford, but it's like if I'm Stafford, I don't know if I want to go there. Like, what do you have that makes me want to go there outside of Belichick?
Yeah, just a winning culture, but like you're saying, they definitely don't have any offensive weapons. I don't know where their place is in the draft. If they plan on, if I were them, you have to get a receiver or running
They need
back,
to
or like I mean, they have no offensive firepower at
at
all.
all. They don't.
So
They don't have. They don't have. They need a running back. They need tight ends. They just need a whole like N'Keal Harry is your top receiver.
mhm.
Like who did he even get picked up in fantasy?
Probably not. I wouldn't. I don't like. What did he do this year? What did he do last year? He didn't. He hasn't done anything since I've seen him play. Man, that dude is. And Edelman's old. I mean, he was producing for a little bit last year. I don't know
Yeah.
about this season, but they need to figure that out, man. It'll be very interesting to see with all this cap space that they have, what they're gonna do. Like, what are they gonna make runs at? Because their D didn't even look that good this year, which was what really shocked me. Like,
Well, that was the biggest thing is that they had like four starters that opted out, like Patrick Chung, and Hightower and stuff like that. They
mhm.
all opted out, which I think kind of hurt them some.
Yeah,
So they get those guys back. That's definitely going to help improve their defense. And I mean, you think about it still, like as they depleted that they were, they still went 7-9.
that's a good
So if they
point.
can get some resemblance of some talent on the field, they can get back into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Um,
Where's that leave Cam Newton?
I would like to see Cam go back and with Ron Rivera in Washington.
Washington. That's not a bad. I mean, okay, so they released what's his face Haskins. Who's Alex
Mhm.
Smith was under center for them. He was
Yeah,
injured.
Alex Smith and Haskins went and signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers, which I think would be a good thing for him. Just working with Mike Tomlin and make him
Yeah,
kind of grow up.
he's such a great coach, man. That
He is,
dude's yeah.
he is. But um, I would like to see either Cam go there. I don't think it would be bad if Cam even went to, like a San Francisco or something like that too, because I think they can use him in the running game some. And I don't like as bad as I know Cam played last year. I'm not gonna put a lot of that on him. Like he had receivers that couldn't even get open.
No, exactly. I totally agree with you. So it's that kind of was a system set up for him to fail. So
Yeah.
I
So
don't
I
know.
don't think because they like we talked about that game against Seattle. He looked like
Yeah, that
Carolina
second
Cam.
game, he did, man.
Yeah.
He really
So it's
did.
like he it's not like he doesn't have that in him, but it's like how often do you want me to continue to try to do something like this with guys that just can't get open? They trash. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. God, he's probably got a lot of wear and tear on him by now, though, too. As a not even just as a mobile quarterback, but like with that frame, he was a mobile quarterback that didn't like get out of harm's way. He was just trying to run through people. So it's just
He's
like,
like the size of like you look like Cam is literally like the size of like he's bigger than linebackers.
no, exactly. Just headhunting people.
Yeah.
Nuts, man. Well, what do you think Stafford's legacy is then? Like, I think he's probably the greatest quarterback the Lions ever had. I don't know if we want to
That's
go like
easy.
way back, but I mean, like,
Easy.
skill wise, he's there. And then it's hard because it's like he doesn't really have any legends. I mean, there's Barry and Calvin, but Barry won one playoff game, so it's not like anyone really had team success. So you can't even really base it off that when you're talking about a Lions player. Like,
Yeah, I think it's just about you start to look at the accolades
mm-hmm.
outside of just wins. That's how I think with pretty much any like Lions player that's been here for a long time, you have to look at the accolades.
Yeah.
You look at the passing yards. You look at his durability. You look at his film, and he's made some pretty big plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unfortunate that it's just been in games where it's for nothing, right? Because it's not like the Lions
exactly.
typically are playing for nothing. But like when they went on a run, they were calling them the cardiac cats, and they were making all of these plays, late in games where they were winning games, and that's when they were competitive and making it, and they made it to the playoffs. So,
Yep.
and there he does have a bit of this thing where he can come up clutching and late in games. So I think that will be his legacy. But all it's going to take is for a player to come in. They let a player come in. Let's say we just so happen to mess around and get Deshaun Watson. Please, Jesus. Like, please. I'm only praying a little bit.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
let's say we get Deshaun Watson. He leads us to the playoffs, and we get a win. It's automatically like Stafford. Who?
Yeah, that's not. You're not wrong, man. I think if anyone led us to a playoff win, it's just you're the greatest. Like as far as Lions,
They instantly get there.
Yeah.
They instantly get there. Let's say Deshaun puts up the same numbers he did, and he leads us to like a playoff win. They already like, well, we won.
Well, with that extra wild card spot, and the Bears have been trashed. Minnesota looked like trash, then kind of turned it around. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, man, we have a pretty tough division. Like year in, year out. Packers are always there. Minnesota and Chicago seem to fluctuate year to year. Like one of them's good, one of them's not. But it's like it's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
I would say the NFC North is probably top 3 as far as toughest divisions. So you got that division with what is it, the AFC North with Pittsburgh,
Baltimore,
or is that the East? AFC East? No, that's the North. It's the North.
Yeah,
the
it's
East
got
is
to be
with
the
the Patriots
North.
and everything.
Yeah.
But
AFC least.
I don't want to. That
another whole Brady thing.
Is tough. You're not a fan.
But no, that is a tough division. Baltimore,
it's that division, and then you look
Cleveland
now,
look good this year. You can't even forget about Cleveland.
Baltimore, and then Cincinnati. I think you give them like 2 to 3 years. They're going to be tough. Joe Burrow looked nice before he went down.
Looks really good, man. Yeah. That injury is really unfortunate. Hope he can come back.
I think he'll be good. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then the other division you look at is the AFC West, right? You got Kansas City, you got Arizona, you have the Rams, and who else was that? The
Rams are in
Seahawks.
the NFC. Who is it? The
Okay, no, who is it?
Seahawks,
The Seahawks and
49ers,
Chargers.
maybe. The Rams or the excuse me, the Chiefs are in that division.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
So, and
Not even counting the NFC South, bro. They got the Saints. Now the Bucks are obviously a huge player in that. Panthers won the Super Bowl less than
we had that all
8 years
mixed
ago.
up. It's it's Kansas City, it's the Raiders, the Chargers, and Denver.
Yeah, that's their.
But
Yep.
still, you look at that division. Raiders are pretty up. The Chargers are going to be
But that other
coming.
division you were talking about has the Cardinals. It's the Cardinals.
It's the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Niners.
Yep.
That's the division I was talking about.
Yep.
That division is.
It's a great division.
I mean, this year alone, they only had one team that was below 500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you got the NFC East that's got who made a team made it? Washington. What did they have? 7 wins.
NFC East.
Yeah.
They just year in a year, it's the worst division.
Absolute trash.
Year in a year, that's the worst division.
So bad.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy is that the AFC East has actually got some players now. Than the Patriots, like the Bills, just made it to the AFC Championship. Dolphins won some games this year. Who would have seen that coming? Jets have always been bad, but I mean,
I think it'll get turned around. And then the Patriots are just the Patriots. They just kind of consistent, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man. Well, it'll be an interesting Super Bowl, and I guess we'll talk more about that next week and then have to assess afterwards. But Stafford, it's I don't want to say sad to see you go because I'm kind of looking forward to it, but you're a good player. You got a good arm, man.
Yeah.
Wish the best for you, I guess. Yeah.
We'll miss you. That house looked nice too, bro.
Yeah, that house does look nice. I saw that online. I was like, whoa, Matt. Okay. You believe, we can switch gears here a little bit, that it's been a year since Kobe died.
Bro. It is crazy because and you know how there's certain things and a lot of people say this there's just certain things that when something happens you remember where you were at.
Yeah, that was one of those moments.
So where were you at when Kobe passed away? Where you heard it?
I was at a family party and the first thing I heard was a TMZ report. No, I got a text from someone saying, bro, Kobe died. And I was like, no, and I looked it up, but the only person reporting it at the time was TMZ. So I'm thinking this, what is this? This is really, and then within the next 20 minutes, it started coming from every publication. And I was like,
yeah,
holy shit. And I wasn't a huge, I didn't grow up Kobe, I wasn't the biggest fan of his, but just the respect I have for him as one of the greatest to ever play. It's just crazy. Just that, I'm sure it's a different boat for you because you probably watched him since he came into the league. I mean, but it was definitely one of those moments of just I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I just got done working out and, so I got my headphones in, so I'm not really paying attention, but then I'm leaving, I started, and everybody was like, bro, Kobe died. And I look back and I look at the TV screen. I'm like, stop playing with me. I'm not about to play this. I'm like, let me get my car. But then alerts start coming up on my phone. And I'm like, there's no way, bro. And so I go over to the Meijer over there by my gym. And I'm walking through and it just dawned on me damn, bro.
Yeah.
Not Kobe. You know what I mean? Because, and I think what it was not only just the fact of who he was, but I was excited to see what he was going to do after basketball, right? Because he just won the Oscar for his short film.
Yep.
And so he had detail with on ESPN, just detailing players' games and stuff like that and things that they can do. And you see the work that he was doing with some of the younger players or whatever. But I think one of the things that really hurts is that you saw how much passion he had for for his children and Gianna and her passion for the game, and I think you were kind of getting excited, maybe she gonna be the truth, and that being cut short. So it's it sucks to that she and those other just everybody on that helicopter lost their lives, but those two girls that lost their lives and they were so young and. Really didn't get a chance to live life. It sucks.
It's horrible, man. even him and like the other the baseball Altabelli, I think his name was, that died. Like I
Mm-hmm.
mean, young guys, Kobe, not even 50 years old. That's so young. I
So young.
mean,
So young.
that was the most shocking part about it to me. And it's just like, and I remember hearing all over too is that like Kobe loved his helicopter. Like he always flew his helicopter. Like
Yeah.
that was,
He flew it. They used it to fly to his games, to the
yeah.
home games.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, you're
So
right. That was definitely one of those moments of like, wow, like this can't be real. And just seeing like the emotion and the outpour of like the NBA players and all that, like that was
he was
insane.
revered.
And to think that
He
that
was
was
really
right before
revered.
COVID, like the world was still together when this happened. It was like couple, just like a couple months before. Like, man, 2020 was weird. It was
It
just
was. Is just a lot. It was a lot. All right, people.
no, for sure. Well, give me your favorite Kobe moment.
So my favorite Kobe moment was when the Lakers were playing Portland in the they were playing Portland in the Western Conference Finals. They were down. It's like the last couple of seconds before the game. Kobe's just sitting there waiting. He crosses over, I think it was Bonzi Wells, crosses him over, drives it, dishes it up to Shaq, and Shaq slams it for the
Oh yeah.
alley-oop. Probably one of my favorite plays. But one of my
Are you talking about Shaq going like that one?
yeah, that one. That's
Yeah.
like one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
That one. And then there's a play that he had. He's playing Denver, if I'm not mistaken. He steals the ball, and I think it was against Vincent Yarborough. He steals the ball. He goes for a fast break. Vincent Yarborough tries to come across him. He goes behind his back and does the 180 and slams it.
Yeah.
Hands just one of the sickest moves. Kobe's just
forgot about
there's
that
a
one.
lot, but those two are probably my favorite. But that one when they play in Portland in the Western Conference Finals, probably one of my favorite Kobe moments.
Hell yeah, man. Great moment. For sure.
What about you?
Just an assassin. I mean, there's a lot I can point to. I was born in 98, so like I was a baby when he won his first three with Shaq. But I mean, was very much into basketball when he got his last two. So one moment was definitely just seeing him win the fourth one over the Magic, just do that vindication of like, this is my ring almost. Like, like I finally did it. That was really cool. But if I had to point to an individual moment, towards the end, Kyrie was a rook and he was on Team USA. And there's this like sideline moment where you listen to him and he just comes up to Kobe, which I respect. And he's like, I beat you one-on-one. Like, there's not even a question. And like they're arguing. Kobe's laughing at him and stuff like that. And he's like, easy money. Like, I'll donate to any charity you want. Like,
right.
Let's go.
Kyrie was like, you got to play defense. You can't guard me.
Yep. And then that season, Kyrie's a rook and they play LA. And there's a moment that Kobe switches on to Kyrie at like the top of the 3-point line. It's like, here we go. Like, here it is. And Kobe just like sat in the chair and D'd him up. And Kyrie tried to do that like turnaround post fade away, like right at the free throw line. And Kobe just swatted that shit. And I was like, damn, man, like old Kobe just like giving it to him. Like, no, young blood. Like that was
not yet.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. God, so much. Just the competitive spirit, man. Like, he just would not be denied.
Yeah. You know what's sad though? Was one of the things that I think everybody wanted was that Kobe LeBron in the finals.
Yeah, God.
Sad that never happened.
That Magic year, man. If LeBron wouldn't have had a bunch of, trash cans that he drug, like, holy crap. That was so sad.
Not trash cans.
Well, bro, he averaged like 35 or
nuts.
38, something insane.
Nuts.
That was the season. That was the series he hit that game winner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he was. I mean. And then you got the haters that'll say, like, oh, that was his, series to win and whatnot. Bro, he balled out that series. Like, I can't blame that on him. I mean, it's just so. But you're right. It's too bad.
Yeah.
They seem to always play on Christmas. I remember growing up, it was awesome. Every Christmas, not having shit to do, just being in my pajamas, just watching Kobe and LeBron play.
Put in work. Great
game. Yeah, man. Always great games. Lakers just slipped. They just lost 2 in a row. So who do we got up top? I think it's like Utah and
Clips, and the Clippers and Philly.
Yep, and then Philly on the other
Boston,
side.
Boston and Milwaukee.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give you my top 5. I'm gonna go 1 to 5
teams.
Yep.
Okay.
So, at number 5, I'm gonna put the Nets.
Okay.
I think they still got a lot of work to do on the defensive end, but offensively, that three-headed monster is nothing to play around with. Like it's they're starting to gel. Like, and I think I mentioned this to you. James is going to be the point guard, which he is. Kyrie's going to move over to the two, putting in work.
Yeah.
Right. And KD is just the Slim Reaper, right? Like he's just that guy. So I'm gonna go with number 5. Number 4. I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna go with Milwaukee.
Okay.
They still need a piece. I think it's the biggest thing. All right. Like Drew Holiday, I think it was he's an upgrade from Eric Bledsoe and George Hill, but it's just not enough.
No, definitely not.
Trade.
I was about to say,
somebody.
Where's Bradley Beal come into this?
I was just about to say that. If Milwaukee can find a way to get Bradley Beal, that's just going.
I mean, wherever he goes is about to shift a paradigm in some way. Like it's gonna,
Yeah. So, but if they can find a way to get him, they'd be nice.
I feel bad for that dude.
Clippers at 3.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting to see how much they slide with Kawhi and Paul being out in safety protocols, but they look nice. Like defense is nice. PG and Kawhi playing out their mind right now. Like I think they have a top 10 scoring defense. Like they just look solid, and we'll see what happens. I think the good that's coming out of them being out right now is I think it's giving those other guys that probably don't get as much playing time. So Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, Lou Will, Mike Kabunga, whatever it is. Like those guys are getting minutes and they're getting playing time. Terrence Mann, they're getting playing time so that way they can really kind of show what they can bring, and I think that'll help.
Most definitely, I agree.
I think they'll develop their bench.
All right, top 2.
Top 2, it'd be the Lakers, and 1 would be Philly. So, and the biggest thing is like Mo.
Wow, Mo.
The Jazz are number 1 in the West right now. Like, how do you not put them in your top 5? And I'll explain. So
10 straight wins, right?
Something like what?
I think they got like 8 to 10 straight wins or something right now.
Yeah, they're balling.
Yeah.
But so this is the thing. The Lakers are going to be fine. I know they lost 2 games in a row. AD didn't play yesterday. I think they'll be fine. Like, and I mean, LeBron went 1 for 12 in the second half. Like, if they really wanted to, they could have beat the Pistons. The Pistons are trash.
Yeah, most of them.
So
that game against Philly, did you watch that?
So it was a really good game.
I was with my boy. Game. Literally, we're about to turn it off and start playing Xbox or something, and then Caruso hits that 3, and I was like, well, that like makes it like mathematically they can still maybe win this. So I was like, well, it's like
balling.
And then I was like, whoa, man, they took the lead. That was crazy.
Yeah, but I think Joel came back in. And remember how I mentioned to you when we were having this discussion about Ben Simmons, right? And him not being able to shoot, but he showed he can be very effective without not being able to shoot. He's pretty much averaging a triple-double. Now, granted, it's not a high-scoring triple-double, but he's putting up, 13 to 15 points a game, 9 assists, and 9 assists and 9 rebounds. Like, the dude is pretty much averaging a triple-double. So
he's good there. I think they're like, I don't know what you want to call it. Like, their X factor has to be Tobias Harris. Like, if he can ball like he did the other night, like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, between him and a lot of people are going to say, well, what about Curry? But I don't think Curry. I think Curry's pretty solid. You know what you get out of him.
I was going to say that, yeah.
But I like the other 2 guys in Shake Milton and then Max. If they can get some production out of them too as well, they'll be nice.
Yeah, Maxi's a good finisher, man. I was watching him like, wow, he's a good player.
He's pretty good. But the reason why I'm putting the Jazz in it is because I do not trust Mike Conley.
That's fair. I don't really either.
For the life of me. Like, he's just, and especially as much money as he's making, Mike Conley is not really producing. No. Like, he is just not what is he? I mean, he averaging 16, 17 points a game, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Like he's just, but dude, like his let's see, he's shooting 45% from the field and 41% from the three, which isn't bad, but like there's games where he go and he like 2 for 10. He like, come on, Mike Conley, you got to give me more than that.
Yep.
And I think they're just being too reliant upon Donovan Mitchell. So do I like them? I would put like this. If I was that, I would put them probably even with the Nets at number 5, like 5, 5A and 5B. But I have questions about like when they start playing some really, some tough teams. How's it gonna go? Because I mean, they did beat the Nuggets, but I think the Nuggets are really starting to just now catch their groove. The Nets popped them early. The Nets popped them 130-96. It's like when they play tougher teams, they tend to struggle a bit more. So they got a rematch coming up against the Nuggets on Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then they play the Celtics on the 9th, so that Tuesday after the Super Bowl. So I think those would be some games where you can kind of get a better barometer of how well they're playing.
That's fair.
What you got?
All right, top 5. Let's see. I want to float Utah right there at 5, but it's debatable. I'm probably going to have – it's a toss-up for me. I can't have Philly at number 1 just because I don't trust them in the playoffs. And you can say the same thing about the Bucks, but I've got a feeling they're going to take a piece or they're going to move someone and they're going to get a piece and like they're going to be a real contender
this year. The Bucks or the Sixers you're talking about?
The Bucks. So I think the Bucks I'm going to put a little higher in my top 5. So I'm going to have Boston at number 5 because they got 2 guys right now that are both averaging 26 and 27 a game, man. And if that, I don't know if that can continue, but those 2 are killing it. They got some depth. They got good coaching. I'm going to have them at 5, and they haven't really came to life yet. I mean, those 2 guys are balling, but like when the whole team starts to gel, I think they're going to be something to mess with in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Number 4, I'm going to go. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to have to kick Boston to 6 and put the Clippers at 5 because the Clippers scare me. They scare me a lot. Yeah.
They're nice.
They really scare me. And then that's, you know what though? Bro, I probably should have wrote this down before. I can't put the Bucks ahead of them because even though the Clips flamed out last year, I know that Kawhi Leonard's, a proven winner. Paul George is not, but I do like Paul George, and he's not. Like what? What do you want me to say? Like he's not a proven winner, but like they got good players. I know you like Paul, but like I don't know what to tell you, bro. Let me just get to it because I'm getting pissed off. The Nets are easily the favorite to win the NBA Finals. The Nets were the favorites to win the Eastern Conference Finals before they even got Harden. Like I'm gonna go off right now. I gave KD slack with the Harden thing. Like whatever, man. You need Harden, cool. You got Harden. If they get Andre Drummond, I am going to explode, Mo. I am going to explode because. It's like, can you not win if you don't have an all-star team, bro? Like, can you not win if you do not have an all-star team? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, if you go and get Andre Drummond, like I said, I was planning on putting money on the Nets making it to the finals in the offseason before they even got Harden. Harden solidified that. I think they're the title favorites. If you go get Andre Drummond now, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I just like but I just bet everything on them if they get Andre Drummond. It's the same thing as the Warriors to me. Like it's like I don't know. I don't understand it with him. Like you have more than enough. You had enough before you got Harden. You had a good team. You could have made it to the finals. I've said what I have to say. KD, you're a great player. You're a great player, KD, but I don't get it. I just don't understand. So you need to tell me your mindset into that because I know you're a huge KD fan. I know a lot of people are. But like, what is it, man? Like you can't stack the odds so far in your favor that it's not even competitive anymore, bro. Like
Um. So, um, what you just mentioned about KD, you can say the same for LeBron.
maybe to a lesser degree, but
He started it. Well,
no,
no, I
for
won't say
sure.
that. I won't say
He didn't
that
start
because
it. The Celtics.
Boston
Yeah.
really started it.
Yeah.
But he was the first to kind of like initiate it as a player,
Yeah.
right? When he went to Miami, and even when he came back to Cleveland, again, he kind of initiated with the whole getting Kevin Love and getting Kyrie,
Mm-hmm.
and then again, even when he went to LA, he did it again with getting AD. So, um, I do I agree that Kevin kind of like needs a team. Yeah,
Boy needs
but
a
I think
team, but what the hell, man? Like, like what in the hell? Like, hard people make arguments that Harden's like they compare him to Jordan as far as scoring the basketball. I've said before, I think Kyrie's the top 5 talent of all time. Like, what do you need all this for, bro? Like, you're mm, mm, whatever, whatever.
I don't I I, I don't I don't believe that Drummond's going to end up going there. I
Yeah,
don't,
God
because it's going to
forbid.
take, even if he gets bought out, like it's still going. Um, I don't think he's going to end up going there. Um, so it'd be, we talked about they just need some. They do need some. They need a big man
Hmm.
because they're really thin on that end, and I think that'll help them defensively. But if he does go there, they're winning a championship.
I don't understand how you have them at 5 right now, bro. Like like I told you, they were
They
my
just got
Eastern
they don't
Conference.
play defense, bro.
Yeah, but
They
they're
do
gonna add
not
someone.
play defense.
No, you're right there.
I mean, they struggle with they every game that they played against the Hawks, they struggled.
Hmm.
The Hawks,
Yeah, you're not wrong, bro. I
like
just,
Cam Reddish over here going for like 30.
yeah, I cannot fathom those 3 being on a team together and losing. I think their team was better before they got Harden as an overall team, just because of the depth and
Oh yeah, they had
they're,
crazy depth.
yeah. So like that move was weird, but I just figured when they got Harden, and they still probably will. It's only been a week or two. Like they're gonna add people to solidify that. So I don't know, man. It's just I really it kind of reminds me exactly like I was talking about before about like Golden State won 1 in 15. LeBron made, the 3-1 comeback, him and Kyrie to even it, and it was gonna be the rubber match, the game, the third time it was gonna be amazing, and then Katie, well, let me just show up and fucking just destroy the paradigm of the NBA. This is the same thing to me. Like I'm just like so excited. Like okay, KD was injured. Bron just won his ring. Is it KD's league now? Which I think he is the best player. And now it's like, bro, like you got Harden. And now, like, if Drummond goes,
You like, do you not have enough?
yeah, that's exactly it, man. Like,
Yeah,
I don't get it. I do
I
not
get what you're
understand.
saying. It'll be interesting to see what happens before the trade deadline. I don't if he does go there, it's a wrap. So
Oh,
like,
easy,
there's no way that they can
easy.
lose. There's
No,
no way.
like easy. And it's like Drummond doesn't even need the ball, so there's no chemistry issue there. He'll just be a
And
good interior
and
man that's going to get you boards and
man,
blocks. Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's one of the things that they kind of struggle with is rebounding. And you
yep,
get add him, like
yep.
it's insane.
It
It's
is, man.
insane. Insane.
What'd you think about Shaq's comments to Spider, man?
I get what Shaq was trying to do, but I think it's also just like, bruh, like it's unnecessary, right? He's like, well, I just want to see how he react. Like, at some point, I think there's a point to where like you trying to um get at somebody just becomes too excessive, right? And I think Shaq is constantly doing that just to kind of see where somebody's mindset at. But at the same time, it's like, bruh, chill out.
I'll tell you, man. I think specifically NBA players. Like, I mean, I'm sure it happens in other leagues too, but specifically retired NBA players they have the biggest issue with like the new generate, like as far as giving credit to where it's due. And I understand everyone's talking about now like the blowback and like LeBron and KD are sensitive and like whatever, accept the criticism. I understand criticism, but like when you just hear stuff like it used to be a grown man's league, it used to be this and that, it's like I can't stand that, because it's like, first of all, these players can't control when they were born and like what era they're playing, and they're just playing ball. They love playing basketball. So when I hear, this one's hilarious, when I hear Jordan on interviews go, these kids don't have a clue what it used to be like, it's like, motherfucker, you're the reason that the league is like this today, because you were getting beat up and the league had to change the rules for you. So I don't know, man. Give these guys respect, man. Like they can only play in the generation that they are born in. Like this,
Yeah,
like
he can't control it. And I mean, you're right. Like what I think it is because they don't. The whole thing when it comes to NBA and it comes to great players is they're not going to downplay their own legacy,
no,
right? Like
no.
those rankings mean a lot to them, right? Just like for Kobe, he needed to get that fifth ring so that way he could say, I got one more than Shaq. Right. Like he needed that. And I think NBA players are just very competitive like that. And those rankings and stuff like that means something to them, that solidifies them and stuff like that. Even Charles, with Charles Barkley never win the championship, being like, but I'm one of the top 20 best players in the league ever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think those things kind of mean a lot to them, and they're just trying to find ways to kind of just make sure that they stay relevant.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, out of all the team sports, I got to say it's definitely, you have the most individual impact as a player, whereas, football is so predicated on a team system. Yeah, exactly. For it to be like, you can't compare this player to that player, whereas basketball, you can take these individuals. Obviously, you can with sports where it's just boxing or tennis or golf because it's just one player, but like out of the team sports, you can have one guy just take over and clearly be the best player in the league. So it's, I do get that. And I don't know. I just have trouble with that. It's like, you played like Shaq. You had 4 rings. You're one of the most dominant players I've ever watched. Like, it almost comes off as like, because then he wore the rings the next day on TNT. And it was like, you don't got none of it. It's like, dude, like, we know who you are, man. Like, it's like, I don't know. I think Donovan Mitchell definitely can be a star. I mean, you saw it in the bubble. That dude's nasty. So it's just to go out of your way to be like you said, like, I just want to see how you'd react. Like, get out of here,
it was. And I'm sure Donovan Mitchell's like, bro, I ain't got time to be sitting there listening to this BS with you again. Like, just give me my respect.
Yeah, exactly, man. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how to put this just nicely. Conor McGregor got knocked the fuck out last weekend.
Talk to him.
What the hell was that? I mean, it's funny because we talked about the mindset in him in the, the pre-weigh-in, like shaking hands and looking not like Conor was usually in the past. And we said we wouldn't be surprised if it happened. What do you think, man? That was odd. Like, I still am shocked. Like, it's...
Yeah. Well, I think what ended up hurting him is that and Poirier mentioned it, his stance is so wide that all he had to do is he attacked that front leg, and that attack that, and you notice as a you being in boxing and stuff like that you need that front leg for your leverage or whatever when you're throwing your punches.
Oh yeah,
and
legs are everything. You can't
firmly be able to have a solid base to kind of throw punches or just to be able to move. It's a struggle for him. So he started tearing up his legs. He got caught and got clapped.
Yeah, he really did, man. It's UFC so interesting to me, man. Just seeing, I'm from, I boxed my senior year of high school and just a huge boxing fan. But just seeing, that's just one type of martial art. You're just focused on your hands. Just seeing these guys that have all the martial arts, combined at your disposal and to see like how they're going to, do it. It's so interesting watching guys pick other dudes apart and like, yeah, just seeing that, I can, really injure this front leg and completely, Conor said it perfectly, like it just compromised my whole fight plan. Like, like I can't do anything. Whereas a boxer, even if somehow you did hurt your leg during a fight, even though legs are everything, you can stay stationary and still kind of put up a fight. In UFC, man, you have to be sprinting all around that ring. Like, it's just like, it was impressive, man. Conor, I think that was his first time being knocked out. If I'm not mistaken, all his other losses have been from submission. So like that was wild. Don't don't call out Khabib right now, Connor. I don't know what you're doing there.
That's not what
you
want.
don't. You don't want that problem, bro. Like,
there's levels to this, and Khabib is not. You're not. He like the master at the end.
Oh,
like video game.
We can
like,
talk about Khabib all day. He's one of my favorites in UFC history. But I want to ask you this, Connor. And I've always thought this, and now it's, I think a valid question to bring up before, big time Connor fans would probably immediately dismiss it. But I've always thought Connor is a great fighter. I never thought that he was a generational fighter, but he was thought to be a generational fighter because of his Muhammad Ali, Mayweather type attitude, predicting how he's going to knock people out, the show. It's amazing. And, just seeing, I remember there was footage before he knocked out Jose Aldo, and he threw the check hook, in the locker room, exactly how he did in the fight. And it's just crazy stuff like that. And people are like, wow, this dude, and he's great. But now with this, is it too far to say that he's not, an icon fighter, a generational GOAT, and he's just a great fighter of his generation?
No, I don't think it's not to say that he can't be in that conversation. It's not like he hasn't held titles.
Mm-mm.
It's not like he hasn't beaten some of the best. He beat Poirier, right?
And
beat him convincingly.
Oh yeah.
So it's not to say that I don't think he to say, especially in UFC, that he's not one of the GOATs. I think he is, right? So I think he's still in that conversation. But the greatest.
No, you can't give him the greatest easily. No.
I think there's other, you got John Jones, you got Khabib, you got some other guys that I would put above him.
Yeah, I mean, for my money, it's John Jones. I think that dude is untouched,
bad,
and he pisses me off with his out of the
octagon. Growing up
antics.
in that family.
Seriously, man,
just imagine growing up in that family, between the three of them.
Dude,
come on,
that is insane. You are right. I mean, John Jones, as far as eye test, but also just has beaten the most champions, held, reigned the title the longest. I mean, that dude, yeah,
bad dude.
He is, man. But Khabib is up there, and I know right after his last win, John Jones went on to social media and was like, I don't know how you guys are going to sit here and say he's the GOAT, which I get his point, but also oh man, Khabib, dude. It's so interesting to see a guy that is so clearly not in it for the striking. He's like, hey, I'm gonna wrap you up and take you down. And when you hit the ground, it's over.
His way.
Good night. He
wins his way.
And that's impressive all on its own. Kind of again, yeah, just he's not going for the knockout. It's hey, I'm gonna get you on the ground and you're not getting out of it, so you better stay on your feet.
But that you have to admit that something has to be said for the fact that he finds a way to win his way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it great is they're gonna find a way to win on their terms in the way that they want to, right? Yep. Floyd finds a way to win the match. Floyd is not really, maybe younger when he was trying to knock you out, but as he got older, he figured I can take less punches and stuff like that, and just win on decision, knowing that I'm gonna outbox you.
Floyd's my favorite, man. Just that Jordan evolution when Jordan went from athletic yamming on people to I'm gonna post you up, hit the mid range, do everything that way. Floyd did the same thing. People think brittle hands, just everyone my generation doesn't realize he wasn't always this boring. I like that type of fighting, but he wasn't a boring fighter always, bro. He was knocking people out. He was a savage, and then broke his hands and had to switch to that. But like you said, found a way. He had to do what he had to do. It'll be interesting. Well, we might as well just get onto that then. Floyd's about to come out of retirement and fight an exhibition fight.
This shit is a fucking joke.
The only thing that makes it interesting is how much bigger Logan Paul is than this man. In my opinion,
that's it, right? And of course, he's probably going to have the strength on him. But Floyd is going. Mike Tyson said it when he was on that podcast with Jake. He gonna get his ass, or is it Logan? My bad, Logan. He gonna get his ass whooped.
Yeah.
You can't replicate that hand speed, and you can't. He is not a He lost to somebody else that don't even box.
Oh, exactly, man. Exactly.
And I don't even think that dude was his same size.
No,
Was it Kezi or whatever it was?
KSI or whatever that dude.
Yeah,
He's another YouTuber. Yeah,
come on. Like,
nice.
you are about to get your ass whooped. But the thing is, he don't care because he about to get that bread.
Yeah,
He
and
is about
more
to get paid.
and more exposure, man. Yep.
Oh yeah, like his brand is about to blow up, bro.
Yep. It is crazy, and like that's just I've heard people talk about it, but it's still just the fact that there's such a huge height and weight disparity that it's like, could he just body him? Could he just cock one and just land one?
It's a possibility.
He won't, but like exactly, it's just that thought of could that happen? Who is sanctioning this fight? I think it's an exhibition. That's like that. Like I keep thinking about that. Like,
well, it's an exhibition. It's an
yeah.
exhibition. So I don't know how that works. You know better than I would.
I would think exactly
like,
that just means rules or whatever they decide to make them. I don't think it's through an athletic commission because they're completely different built human beings. So it's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're in agreement there. It'll be weird though because Floyd doesn't have any resemblance of power anymore at his age. Not to mention this guy's so much bigger. So I got to think it'll just come down to an accumulation of punches later into the fight that Logan will just, take his lumps. And
I mean, you think about it though. You look at what Floyd did to Conor.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a professional athlete.
Oh.
And now he's about to go up against somebody that lost to another amateur fighter. Like, this isn't your sport. I don't think is. My prediction is it will probably go at most 8 rounds. How many rounds are they supposed to have?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I'm
gonna say at most Floyd let it go about 8,
mm-hmm.
and then it's gonna be a TKO. Like they're gonna have to stop because it's a joke. I mean, I ain't mad on him. One thing Floyd gonna do is he gonna get his money.
Yeah,
like Floyd know how to get his money. Like, people may be mad at the shit that Floyd do with beating on women and shit like that, and I'm all about that. Like, don't do that shit, right? Just fuck that up.
Yep.
But Floyd know how to get his money.
That he does, man. And that's what's funny too is people think like, oh, he's an idiot, you can't read, all this stupid shit. It's like you can say that and like, yeah, maybe he's not educated. The dude's a marketing genius, a boxing genius, like a mogul. Like you said, he just figured out a formula to make hundreds of millions of dollars for 30 minutes of easy work. Like, it's just like he never cheated the game. Like, he always, the conditioning was always there. It's just that's what I love about him. It'll be easy work. It's just that simple. Really? What about Logan's brother? This dude is who bothers me.
Go off.
Logan,
go off.
Like,
let's go.
Listen, Logan can say that he's a boxer. That's fine. Like, you're fighting a boxer now. Like, that's like, let me make this clear. I mean, not that Jake Paul's listening to this, but like just the people in general. I don't care how many times you convince athletes of other sports to get a boxing license, Jake Paul, and fight you. Quit saying this is the next step to becoming the biggest You're not a fighter until you fight a boxer. And this became apparent to me. It started when Conor fought Floyd because I was all for it. I wasn't against it in any way. But when people started to disrespectfully go like, well, there's a chance Conor could win. It's like, hey, man, these are not the same sports. I understand they're both martial arts and that Conor strikes, but this is the greatest fighter arguably ever, like what he does at the sweet science of like boxing. Like, it's just not the same thing. And it wasn't even close. Like, I know people say, Conor looked good. He did, but I think that's because Floyd let him look good and just drug him out into deep water.
Okay,
and then,
thank you. I'm so glad that you said that.
Yeah, like, because people were like, Conor looked really good. It's
he went 10 rounds with him.
Yeah, it's like, okay, sure. Floyd gave you a show is basically what happened. But back to Jake Paul, that's my thing. Like, you're not a fighter until you're fighting boxers, bro. It's just that simple. Like, you fought a YouTuber, you fought a retired NBA player who clearly didn't take you serious and just decided, I don't know how much training he did, but both of them looked like they did not belong on that ring. It was insane. I
mean, not to mention, you talk about it too. Like, are they even in the same, like, height and weight and all that stuff? It just whatever, but continue.
Yep. So I hope he gets his ass whooped by Ben Askren like that. that would be awesome, bro.
When you post this, make sure you tag Jake Paul in this shit. He need to see this. Go fuck off, E.
That would be amazing. And honestly, I've been thinking too, because Jake's been doing this for like a year or two now, like training pretty heavily. So he's getting more familiar with boxing. Yeah, I will give him that. And Askren doesn't have any boxing, background, but I heard an interview with him that made me feel more comfortable because, I mean, he just listening to him say, like, do you understand? I'm in the UFC. Like, I've been hitting the pads my whole life. Like, I used to box in high school, like, just for fun. Like, and I just think about it that way. And I'm like, yeah, man, like, even though this dude doesn't have any professional boxing training yet, he's been doing this forever in the UFC where he's been, he's familiar with mitt work. He's familiar with the pads. He said something that really rung true to me. He goes, this is a YouTuber that, he's rich and he's fought two guys that have been absolutely awful. When he gets in the ring with me and I hit him and he realizes, oh shit, I'm in like a real fight here. Like this is, I don't think he's going to like it. And it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts. And I totally agree with that. I think that's spot on. Like when you're actually going to get into a dogfight with this dude, those other two guys were not boxers. This dude's been kneed in the face by Jorge Masvidal or whatever his name is. Like this dude is taking blows. Yeah. Whatever you're going to throw at this guy, I don't think is going to really hurt him that much. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it ends up.
It'd be interesting to see him go up against somebody that actually fights as a profession, right? Yep. And I know UFC is complete. It's like a brawl compared to boxing. Boxing is a different sport, and kind of figured that out, and we all kind of put that together. And I don't know much about Ask You to really put it in. It's like, is he a striker? Is he? No,
that's jiu-jitsu? The thing too that made it weird. It was like, okay, Jake Paul's got a really good chance because he was a state champion wrestler. And that was his goal too. I think he was 19-1 until Masvidal threw that flying knee a couple years ago and
clapped him real quick. Yeah. That was the quickest knockout ever.
Yeah. But that was his thing, he just get you on the ground, try to submit you. So I mean, it'd
be interesting to see, because if his thing is not the ground game,
yeah, it will.
There's a chance. I just, I think there's a difference between fighting a retired NBA player and a YouTuber versus another professional fighter.
Exactly.
Like these guys, they train to fight, so it'll be interesting to see.
It's definitely a step up for him, but that's why I gave that disclaimer in the beginning of this little monologue, bro. Like, I don't care how many of these other athletes you coax into boxing, you start fighting boxers, bro. That's the only thing I can really say to you. Like, and then we'll assess how you are as a boxer. That's like all I really have to say about that, dude. But I do want Ben Askren to win. That'd be really cool.
All right. Tag him in this. You got to.
We can wrap it up with some like actual sanctioned boxing now and not these crazy exhibitions that have been going on. This weekend, they're not really big names, but Caleb Plant and Caleb Truax are fighting for the IBF super middleweight championship, which doesn't really seem like a big deal to most people. Other than if Caleb Plant wins, it sets up a unification with Canelo Alvarez for the super middleweight because Canelo has all the other belts. He should make light work of this guy. This dude's 37 years old.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I'm not really expecting. And Plant looks pretty good. Like he's a young prospect. He's undefeated. I think he's 20-0. But the only reason I bring this up is Canelo is again about to fight a dude that no one has heard of, that just absolutely and I understand, I guess it's his mandatory. So the WBC belt that he holds, like that's his mandatory challenger. So if he doesn't fight this dude, he relinquishes the belt.
This is belt,
that. But at some point, man, with these guys like Canelo, they bother me so much. Like you're the pound for pound king. Every fight that you fight from here on out should be championship caliber. That's just firmly what I believe. And I've just seen it too much with Canelo, like the ducking and dodging people. And I think he's a great fighter, but he's not at the top of my pound for pound list just because that's just always how I've seen him. I thought
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you say that Floyd did the same thing?
To an extent, but Floyd also beat more world champions than anyone in the history of boxing. So I do agree. Like with the Pacquiao thing, he tried to, wait until Pacquiao was for sure. But then he also fought Canelo when he was an old man. Well, not an old man, but past his prime. And Canelo was an up-and-coming fighter and absolutely schooled him. So, I mean, yeah, you are right in that sense. But I don't know, man. Canelo, he bothers me. It's I think he got robbed, or Triple G got robbed in their first fight that was called a draw. I
That
thought
was a
Triple
dog
G,
ass fight.
yeah,
That
but
was
I
a
thought
dog
Triple
ass
G
fight.
won. And then, he won the second one, and Triple G's old now, and like that,
Yeah.
there's no point in them fighting again. It's like I need to see Canelo really go after a fighter in their prime. Like if he's going to beat this dude, the Avni Yildirim or whatever his name is, and then he's going to probably unify against Caleb Plant. And then what though? Like I need to see you fight a Terrence Crawford, or
That's gotta happen.
like man, you need to or
That's
go up
gotta
like,
happen. Like we
yeah,
need that. That's the thing. Like boxing needs that.
yep, just two technically sound great fighters.
Man, that'd be a dog fight.
It really would.
A dog fight.
I love Bud Crawford, man. He's a dog.
That man. I mean, we talked about it last time. Like he's right now. I think he's a pound for pound best fighter right now in the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's just nice, but that you get that. Like I typically, oftentimes I don't pay for pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pay for that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I pay for that pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. I probably would too, for sure. Let me ask you something, just off topic, really, because you just reminded me that when you said pay-per-view. Do you think pay-per-view has anything to do with the fact as to why boxing isn't as popular as it used to be?
I think with the way things work now and the streaming and everything, I think so. I think that does, because people they're finding new ways to get whatever the media is to the outlet, to us as the consumers of it. So I think there has to be a way for them to kind of re-envision kind of doing that and still make the money that they make from pay-per-view. Because I appreciate the fact that that Loma and Lopez fight was on ESPN.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like I think for me, it's just like I always hear about people say, like, generations way before me, like, my parents just saying, like, Ali used to be on TV and stuff like that, like we used to watch these fights on cable television, and it's like I think that made them more household names, whereas now, and boxing did it to themselves. They're a very corrupt sport, and like over time it's became, it's died. It seems like it's coming back over the last 5 years or so, but
yeah.
I can't help but wonder if that has something to do with it, like the fact that people don't have access to see who these people are, because the only ones that are really good fighters, it's like you have to pay $70+ to see them fight, and it's like if you're not invested in that,
is it worth it?
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, people used to pay $50 to watch Mike knock people out in the round, and be bad as fuck. But yeah, I think they had to find other ways to get it to where it's just on, some type of, like, whether it's ESPN or Fox or some TNT, like they have to find ways to kind of get it to more of a masses, because the viewership or whatever is going to go up, or, like there has to be, they have to re-envision how it's done, and they can still make their money.
Yep.
I mean, remember that's people, maybe they're, these different sanction bodies, or these, the individuals that create their belts or whatever, maybe they have their own streaming service, and that's how they make their money. People signing up for their streaming service. I don't know, but you're right. I think pay-per-view does kind of hinder it. So
yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see as this goes on. Like, is boxing gonna, just kind of plateau where they are? Are they going to keep making a rise, or is it going to, plummet again? And, I really hope that it comes back around, because I'm biased, but it's one of the most exciting sports, I think, out of all of them. Like, it's that inherent, like, warrior of, like, one-on-one in a ring with someone. I'm like, who's the man?
Yeah.
I think people need to see more of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think that's a wrap on this week. We are now on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So all the streaming services.
All of that.
Hit us up. Look us up on Instagram. Give us a follow.
Get the followers up.
That's right, at the Catchweight Pod. And then as far as YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram for more of that exclusive content. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.